Hey guys, welcome back to some more Banjo-Kazooie. We're back in the hot area here because we're making our way to the spooky mansion. Does that make sense?
And
After
I'm just
the
going to turn down the volume because Kazooie was drowning you out there a little bit. My bad.
I mean, she tends to do that in general, even the banjo.
I mean, no one judge her. She's always pregnant.
Excuse me.
Have you not seen the meme going around everywhere that's just like the reason the Kazooie can lay eggs?
I've not heard that one, but I mean, the laying eggs, I guess, doesn't really surprise me.
You've not? Okay, to be fair, the only reason I know of this meme is because it was reposted by the Ukulele official Twitter page.
I mean, those guys are weird, so it's not really that surprising.
I mean, I wouldn't call it weird, I'd call it hilarious. Like, they retweeted a comic that's just, like, spelling out the word love, but starting every verse with a letter of love, and then it just gets to E, and then it's just Kazooie there standing, and she's like, egg.
well, I learned something that I didn't know about.
Don't worry, I'll send through the last panel, because you don't even need the first three for context, it's just the dumbfounded look on Kazooie's face, and then just the attached tweet of just a reminder that Kazooie is always pregnant. And the weird reason that that came up on the Ukulele Twitter page is because people were asking, it was like, people were just like, is Laylee always pregnant? It's like, why would Laylee always be pregnant? Because Kazooie's always pregnant? Why would Kazooie? Oh, egg.
Now I get it.
Well, it's a good thing that we're playing a very spooky level because that was a very spooky topic.
Yeah, really, I mean, you know, fitting.
I mean, I wouldn't say childbirth is scary. I mean, I haven't had a child, so I can't really comment. That will now be a quote attached to me. Cool beans.
I mean, if you want to be serious, I mean, childbirth is a wonderful thing, but it's also a very scary thing too. So,
Yep.
I don't want to have this conversation no more before I get my.
This is getting very weird.
Am I free to leave? Is that my pass to leave?
I want to leave and I don't want to record the game.
Yeah, Vikings, I am the mighty Tumblr. No, I don't want to read Tumblr. Shut up.
Yeah, I don't know what's worse, this conversation we're having right now or Tumblr. Both equally bad.
Oh.
Anyways,
How do you operate the Luigi board?
Yeah, so here's one of our first big gimmicks here in Mad Monster Mansion. So this is a little puzzle. We have to spell out everyone's favorite word in the game, Banjo-Kazooie. You do this all the time. You just get on top of the little ice cube and you just move around. Just don't let the ghost hit you because he'll knock you off.
I always thought that was an upside down glass, not an ice.
It is, yeah. I am the mighty Tumblr.
I mean, when he talks, it looks like, yeah, like a cup of some kind, but then the model looks kind of like ice.
It's like you think of a like a glass like a glass cup, so a tumbler. The thing is, there aren't any eyes on the model of the cup itself, and he's upside down.
Yeah. It's different.
It is very much a weird context cue that you can miss.
I was just thinking, it's like, you know, in those cartoons where they always catch a spider and they put it in a glass jar underneath and stuff like. Which, speaking of spiders, right when we started this recording, my cat just killed a huge. I mean, he was a big old spider. My cat's been killing spiders like crazy. I don't even have to do it anymore. I come up and I find dead spiders on the floor all the freaking time. I'm like, what the heck? And I was like, oh, he must have killed it.
You see, that's how he's paying his rent. He's just the spider killer.
Yeah.
He's just a spider.
It's just like, I would pay you board, but I cannot. Father, I shall instead cleanse this room of the spiders.
I was just like, I'm sorry I wasn't talking very much at the very beginning of this episode, but I just saw, I was like, what is he playing with over there? Oh, that's a huge ass spider. Oh, I better go take care of that real quick. Which I guess this is very fitting for this episode because spooky level, so.
Yeah, I mean, heck, the gravestones come alive of all things.
I like Mad Monster Mansion. I think this level's really fun.
It always stood out to me. Like, I never owned Kazooie or Tooie myself, but every time I went to a friend's house to play it, this level always stood out to me.
It's the theming of it I think works well, because it's not just like a haunted house thing, it's also just like a graveyard site too.
Absolutely.
It's kind of a combination of a couple different horror elements.
And this isn't a trope you see in like video game levels as much as like, oh, you got your lava level, you got your desert level, you got your ice level, you got your standard water level. No, we got a haunted house level. I mean, the only other game I can really think of that had something like that was Glover.
Oh, also Mario 64 with Big Boo's Haunt.
You got Mario 64, but you've got an entire world dedicated to it in Croc.
Yeah, that's true.
The entire fourth world was like, to be fair, I feel like Croc's attempt at a Haunted Mansion made me terrified of Haunted Mansions in 3D games thereafter, because my goodness, World 4's difficulty spike was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Literally, the first level had a memory game sliding box puzzle in one of the second last rooms filled with zombies from memory. Again, it's been a hot minute, but I'm trying to remember the stuff of, do I really want to record Croc for the lit? Of course I do.
I've seen so many play. I think both you and Jared played Croc a lot, so I wouldn't mind watching a Croc playthrough, because I know that's kind of an underrated game.
I mean, it also has some pretty big roots with like Nintendo stuff anyways, which is kind of what a lot of us liked in this group, because originally that was supposed to be a Yoshi game, and then they got turned down.
Although, granted, given how much fun I had watching Jarrett play Glover the first time, there is a small part of me that wants to see him record Croc, just to see how that goes. That's not even a Jarrett, that's just like, I want to see... because, like, the nostalgia will be an overload for the both of us, and, like, that's exactly what I want with a game like that.
Now we got maze. I hate this hedge maze.
Yeah, well, the worst part about the maze is the ghosts, because you can't go through the walls, but the ghosts can, because that actually does make sense. So it's kind of annoying if you don't have gold feathers on standby.
Wait, you mean game logic makes sense?
I know, what is this?
I know, you'd be surprised. I was amazed when I could fly out of the ship in Among Us when I was dead, but then I'm like, oh wait, I'm a ghost. That's a thing I can do. That actually makes sense.
Nobody's holding me down anymore.
Yeah. It's like, which ghost isn't doing the tasks? That would be me. I am in the void. I am in the void. I'm getting distracted. I'm going to Mars.
Yeah, so we're not going to be entering those windows down below just yet. That's more of a setup for later, because both of those rooms on the second floor of the mansion, we can't really do anything with Banjo-Kazooie, but we need them open for the transformation, and the transformation can't attack. So, gotta break them open now with Banjo-Kazooie. But the third floor, on the other hand, the transformation can't come up here, so we can do stuff in this area now.
Makes sense.
Giant skeletal fish coming out of pink. Now, I think in one of the Easter eggs in this game, is there's a picture of a pirate in these rooms. That was from the original concept of what Banjo-Kazooie was going to be originally.
Yeah.
Yeah, based off of Project Dream. But then everything kind of changed, and that pirate was no longer really in this game, and then he later makes a cameo in the sequel.
Yeah, because there was a Banjo-Kazooie went through a lot of development cycles before it became the game we know now.
Yeah, I mean, the main character originally wasn't even a bear and a bird, it was just some generic dude.
Yep.
Yes. I mean, to be fair, I've seen some of the original prototypes for Yoshi's Island, and, like, the level of drastic difference from initial to final is almost on parallel with that.
Oh, yeah.
The Rayman-looking guy that was meant to be the main pro tag of Yoshi's Island.
Yeah, there was also one point in the development when they did settle on the bear design we have now at Banjo. They didn't even have a companion for him. He had the blue backpack, but there was no Kazooie inside of it.
Yes.
Kazooie didn't come until later either.
Banjo looks really different.
Oh, yeah. Like, a lot of the standard stuff you expect from Banjo was there in the early model, but, yeah, he was missing a lot of stuff that he kind of has now. Some of his personality wasn't there yet. His attacks were a little more simplified.
Hmm. Dare I say it? It kind of reminds me of the drastic difference between the final design for the Inklings in Splatoon and the bunny designs.
Yeah, because they also changed a lot too.
Yeah. Oh, I was just gonna say you almost didn't. You almost clipped for a second there.
Well, you can get kind of caught on that ledge there for a second, which doesn't help when you have only a few seconds to get to this door in time. It's a little strict, so if you don't have the running shoes, you're just not getting inside this area.
Like, to be fair, I feel like the timer could be 1 second more generous, but I feel like there are some sections later in the game that are a lot more harsh than here.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, this one's not that bad because you can continuously retry, and there's no penalty if you fail. You just have to do it again.
I still think that the timer, the one that has the worst timer, like, is the pyramid in Gobi's Valley, the one where you have to run.
Yes.
That one's the worst.
Yeah, because they don't give you that much time to begin with, and like 5 seconds gets eaten up with a cutscene.
Yeah, and I mean, there's gonna be a Jiggy later that has a timer, and is the worst Jiggy in the game. But it isn't the timer that the problem is.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that one in due time.
We'll get to that one later when we get to. I'm not looking forward to that part.
Yeah, but now it's time to play some music on this organ, which I kind of want to mention one thing about this, and it's specifically an issue here with this version of the game. So, for the most part, everything in Banjo-Kazooie was emulated perfectly fine here in the 360, but this is the one thing they did get wrong. You'll notice when we're playing notes, it's all the exact same note. In the N64 version, this would have different sounds based on the note. So it will go lower and higher based on where you are on the piano.
The hand, it offends me.
Yeah, in this version, this whole area got, like, sound bugged, unfortunately, so this section's kind of lifeless. Compared to the N64, we actually have music. But you can also hit the notes early, too, so you don't actually have to follow this hand's path. You have to just play the same notes.
It's good that it gives you that lenience, because that would really suck if you played the note early and then it just goes, no, you didn't wait for me, so we're going to do it again.
Yeah, luckily, this is not really a timing-based puzzle. It's just, it's a memorization-based one, so if you actually know what notes to play, you play them early.
Yeah. The more lenient version of Simon Says.
Yeah, it's not even that much Simon Says at that point. More like, Simon did it, like, a couple minutes ago. Catch up, Simon.
Dear Master Hand, learn that there is more than one note.
That's kind of silly. It's kind of bad that this is the part where it kind of got screwed up. I mean, granted, I know every port of a game's not going to be perfect, 100% perfect. But
yeah, but like, considering Rare Replay is the main means by which people are going to be enjoying this game, and even then, only on Xbox One and 360, I'm pretty sure, for compatibility, that's... Like, on limited accessibility, that's a real shame.
Yeah, it is kind of a weird issue. It's a weird issue that they had that weird sound bug, because for the most part, from what I've heard in like the retro scene, people say this was a pretty spot-on like conversion. Especially when you compare it to a lot of games conversions nowadays, which are either pretty okay or why did they do this port conversions? Like, they're just more scuffed nowadays, I feel. But this is actually one of the better ones.
What did I watch? Exaparadigm Gamer, who does Remake or Rebreak, also does a series called Cross Platform. And he looked at Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie between their N64 and their Rare Replay versions. And apart from, like, mostly the main issues with Banjo-Tooie compared to its N64 version were actually sound-based. And I think the only other issue he really had with it, playing the two of them side by side, was the fact that, what was it? The intro desyncs from the music.
Yeah, like, it's not as bad in this game, but in the sequel, it goes almost like a full minute out of sync. So if you want the real experience, you actually have to watch the cutscene on N64. It's the only cutscene that's that bad, because later cutscenes in 2E do actually stay in sync. But it's just the intro that's so terrible, because the music was made with the lag in mind, the N64, and they didn't account for that when they made the emulation port.
that's so.
But it is what it is.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that. It's just I played Tui. The only way I played Tui is on the 360 version. I have Tui on N64, but that was just recently. But yeah, I watched it. I was like, why is Grunty's magic being casted like well before she actually did it in the game?
Yeah, well, one of my favorite parts in that cutscene is when Grunty is charging up her laser spell to kill everyone in Banjo's house. It plays like the goofy in-house music when she's getting super serious with the attack, and it's so non-fitting. But it's so good for that reason.
Now you turn into Pumpkin.
Yeah, with all the other improvements that are made, it is a slightly forgivable thing, but that piano thing is going to bother me. Just low-key, that piano thing has triggered me.
I mean, you can put it in the garbage just like us. We're pure garbage, but being garbage gets us a jiggy.
At least it's not. At least it's not the shit mountain from Conquer yet. So
Yeah, not to that level of rare just yet.
Yes. Very true. I still wish the Rare Replay had come onto other platforms, but...
Yeah, I mean, I don't see that really happening since, like, almost half of the games in that collection are 360 games, technically. So it would be really hard for them to get those games to work on other platforms because of the architecture.
Rare is considered a Microsoft property, rather.
But yeah, they still own the company, so yeah.
I mean, like, we're in a week where, you know, Bethesda are saying, yes, we have partnered with Microsoft, but with it's still Bethesda, and I'm just like,
You know, it's not going to change anything. Skyrim 6 is still going to take, you know, years to come out. And yes, I call it Skyrim 6 because it's just going to be Skyrim
because
again.
it's the 75th time you've brought Skyrim to class.
And you know for a fact it's going to be super busted. It's barely going to work because that's just the Bethesda charm. Their games never work.
that's the same way with how Rockstar is with GTA 5 now. It's getting as bad as Skyrim now.
Oh, yeah. GTA 5 is the next Skyrim. Just flat out. I hate it so much, I can't take this anymore. Sorry. Just give me a second to grab this, and I'm gonna just peace out of this life.
Now that I'm dead, I'll be Banjo-Kin. I don't have to go all
I
the
just
way.
love how the fanfare was overtaking your death sound.
Yep, it did not care. It's victorious. You're dead.
That's the Mega Man 3 Game Over lyrics with lyrics. It's so unfitting. It's like being a spiteful dick.
Yeah, so it didn't really matter at that point we game over, because I was done in Mad Monster, we had everything. It was just the fastest way to get back.
Man, you did a sweep of Man Monster in like one video.
Yeah, we're not even done, because we actually need this pumpkin. It's the only transformation in the game you are required to take out of the world to make progression. Because here, we can actually transform back into Banjo-Kazooie for something, and you need to get into this room with the pumpkin. This is required to actually open the way to your next world. Without raising the water level with this switch here, you won't be able to get over to the next area, but this ghost doesn't want me to get to the next area.
Like, no, you mustn't.
Wow, this is really following on from that conversation we were having earlier about Mario 64, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see, we're just jumping into like the very edge of the frame for Wet Dry World, the bottom, so now we're just at neutral level. Give it a little bit of time, we're gonna jump in the very top and make it flooded.
Which I'm surprised. I know we did a playthrough of Mario 64 on this, but I'm gonna be honest with you. It's been a while since we recorded that.
I mean, that is fair, yeah, we didn't touch that game in like a few years. That was back in like 2013.
Yeah. I completely forgot that was what Dry World's gimmick. So when I'm sitting here playing Mario 64 again, I'm just like, why is it that I can't do this? Oh, that's why.
Remember, the number of times I've been in commentaries for different Metroid games, and it's just like, yeah, nah, Zero Mission was still hard the first time. Shut up.
Yeah.
Or it's always making me nervous because it's so hard to see these platforms. No matter what your brightness is set to on your TV, with how they keep on like dimming the lights in this area, the platforms kind of blend into the background.
Make sure your TV is not on the way out when you play this level, otherwise everything is going to look like the background.
Yeah, I mean, on my computer monitor here, I got a couple different color settings, and one of them is like super washed out bright, and actually use that one to make this section a little bit easier, because it actually makes it possible to see things in this room. Kind of did the same thing with Banjo-Tooie as well, because there's a certain section that it's much easier if you have your brightness cranked up. Then you don't even need light in that section to beat it.
I was honestly telling you, Lester, you were making me nervous as hell jumping around on that platform.
Yeah, that's the only reason why I could be so reckless. I actually had brightness cracked up. If I didn't have my brightness up to max, I actually wouldn't see what I was doing.
Hi, Cheeto.
Yeah, so now we're getting another sheet. So this time around, we're getting the red feather sheet. So this will double our amount of feathers, taking us up to 100 max.
I wouldn't really even call these cheats. These are just upgrades.
Yeah, if you want to be honest though, this is probably the most useless out of the 3 cheats you can learn from Cheeto, and it's simply because by the time you get it, you're probably not using red feathers much anymore. Because the next world in the game we're going to, you can't fly at all. And then the next and final world after that, again, you don't really fly much. There is some points you fly, but it's not really that bad. And then it's the final boss you fly, and then that's it.
For the most part, you've just been holding on to them for when you need them more than anything. So it's like, they're there, but it's one of those things that's very situation. Who wanted pumpkin soup, by the way?
Why would you do that?
Thank you. That's a good point,
Yeah,
John.
why would you do that?
Yeah, I had to question myself then. Like, why was I doing... I don't even remember why I did that. I think I just accidentally hit the wrong direction. Why'd you do that? Why?
Why? Why would you do that?
Banjo and Bear pumpkin soup. Banjo Bear pumpkin soup. That is the only explanation.
What? Speaking of JonTron, that just reminds me of the bootleg episode of the Disney bootleg games where Simba literally hangs himself on the game over screen.
Oh my god. So good. So ridiculous.
Thing ever, man.
Yeah, it was really messed up.
Okay, there you go.
Thank you. That's the only eye you can break between the 2 eyes there in the granny statue. I don't know why you can break the eye at that point, but it's good you can. Otherwise, you can't get the jiggy.
I guess.
Yeah, no idea what was coming.
I guess you could say that Jiggy was a real eye opener.
I don't know, Matt. I kind of feel like that joke was a bit of an eyesore.
Where's the cheat code to end this? Cheeto kill puns. There's the cheat code. Are you sure about that? Kick your butt first.
You've been working on that all evening, haven't you?